We are starting the presentation of both leagues. First, the national team of Hungary, Majesta. Number 2, Dia Kish. Number 4, captain of the league,
Well, welcome everybody. You join us in the Scottish Arena. It's day one of women's EuroBasket here in Slovenia. And you're joining us as Hungary are being introduced to a sizable contingent of Hungarian fans. Hungary come here with some real expectations of doing well. And we watched them in practice yesterday, Shona, and they look ready to play.
I agree with you, Mark. I think you look at this roster that Hungary has sent to this EuroBasket, and they might be that Cinderella team moving on in this tournament. But first, they have to get past Slovakia.
Well, they could be that Cinderella team too, because every single EuroBasket, we see a team get a great start, get some momentum, and why shouldn't it be Slovakia? They've got such a history, and they're going to come into this game with expectations, but Hungary the undoubted favourites for this one. But well, we watch practice, and it's both teams up-tempo.
Absolutely, up-tempo. And I think, listening to the press conferences of both these teams and their coaches, they want to come and prove that they deserve to be here and that they both believe they can make it out of pool play. And opening day, I'm going to talk about this all day long, is so important to get that first game day win. And what an opportunity for both these teams here today.
Well, we're going to have the chance to talk a lot more about that after the national anthems of both teams. And we're going to have first will be the Hungarian national anthem, followed by the Slovakian national anthem, and we'll be back to talk a lot more about this day one clash between these two countries with great history in this competition. Sean, as you said, it's day one, and first time you hear the national anthem, all those prep games, it's now the real thing.
It absolutely is. All those prep games kind of go out the window, and I'm sure we'll talk throughout the game, but Hungary had a great preparation leading tournament. And yeah, I know in the end it doesn't really mean anything, but here's the other team tonight.
Well, here is the third team on the floor. Marty Bulic, Gerd Jacobs, and Jelena Tomic from Croatia and Belgium, respectively. And they get the honor of being the officials to open things up here in Slovenia. Going to get a look at lineup, starting fives, and players to watch in the game. But the great thing about this Hungarian team, it's a team.
It really is. And we talked about it. Every single one of these players, here we see the starting five. Not a big surprise. Maybe not having Hatar in the starting lineup would be the only difference there, but how about having her come off the bench? Every single one of these Hungarian players either plays in FIBA Euro Cup or EuroLeague. So you talk about a team that is ready and knows this level, it's this Hungarian team.
And she's a rebound machine, right? I mean, every single night she goes to work around. Her office is the keyway. And she's had some great numbers. It may best be this Slovakian team a little quick, and they're going to spread the floor. And maybe why Coach CJ is going to take that line and go a little smaller, and maybe use the impact off the bench.
Yeah, you know, why not? I know Slovakia typically in the past, they're a team that likes to spread the floor and shoot the ball a lot from the outside. And like you said, maybe that's more of a tactical move there by Norbert, the Hungarian coach.
Well, here is this Slovakian starting lineup.
I mean, right off the bat, the person who kind of jumps out at me is number 3, Jakubcova. She's going to have a huge game. She has been the leader at the previous EuroBasket, also in the qualification games. But you can't win in a tournament like this with just one player. Someone else is going to have to step up.
Well, is it Barbara Jasinski? I mean, her numbers across the qualifiers have been exceptional. 15 points a game and 6 assists pretty much. And so she's the person who's going to just orchestrate.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming off EuroLeague experience the last couple of years in USK Praha, so she knows what it takes to compete at a top level against top Europeans. And I said it, you know, Ivana Jakubcova, number 3, she's probably their best player and highest scorer in these past tournaments for them, but you need other people to step up.
It's as you said, whatever the preparation has done, it's giving you a chance to look at yourselves a little bit and come up with some combinations, but now you've got to do it on the day. And you don't win it on the first day, but neither team's going to want a double-digit loss, because as we've said all the way in the build-up, these groups are so tight that we could be in a very much a calculated situation going through. So, yeah, you want to be expansive, but you've got to look at making sure you do not get sloppy with the basketball.
Absolutely. And I think it's such a good opportunity on this game day 1 to get a win, because both teams are going to be a little bit nervous, and maybe, you know, they haven't found their rhythm yet. Even though they have had preparation games going into this, you still have first game day nerves.
Well, Coach, they are in his press conference, and both coaches, the pride of EuroBasket representing your country is just evident. That adds that pressure. And as I said just before the national anthems, there's a good contingent of traveling fans, so we're getting a great atmosphere here in the Skocilina. And it's going to be opening game day nerves. Which team is going to get into their rhythm first?
And this is an early start time. You know, not a lot of players are used to suiting up.
Not a lot of coaches are used to. None of those commentators. Well, moments away from the opening tip here in Slovenia. Hungary in the red uniform, Slovakia in the white. Wherever you're joining us from, welcome to Slovenia. We're underway here, and Hungary will get a first look at it in the half court. Scooter will orchestrate. Dory has it outside and looks to hit the second side. Reverse, that's the turnover, and there's that foul pull. So, really a job to keep Deborah Bay away from the basketball. Just real leader on this team.
And an early foul there, but look at this, out of that inbounds play, we see Slovakia go into kind of like 1-2-1 zone, and why not? Because they force a turnover.
Yeah, a little sloppy on the pass. And you really want to get touches of the ball, you want to move the ball, get everybody involved. Here's Slovakia, their first look at the half court. Well, right off the bat, gets it going. Does Jakobsen used us over. You said she's the point.
Yeah, she is, and definitely a stretch big, as we have seen in the past. Very good shooting, three-point shooting big, and no surprise they went to her on the first possession offensively.
I think that's the call with Hatar, because they would really stretch her.
Yeah, they would, and so then you bring Hatar out, and you don't have a rim protector.
Yeah. Dory has it. They puts it on the floor, gets tied up, and they zone again, no space to play.
So how about that? 2 turnovers for Hungary on their first 2 possessions of the game.
So on the outside, we'll hand off. It's quick in the half court. Struder goes up with the left hand, doesn't get it to go. Great work on the glass, and the 2 is good. Morskikova worked hard, outworked, got the rebound, and Slovakia tick it over first. Dorbe puts it on the floor and wraps it. Struder looks to the inside. Great little move to the far side of the ring, and the 2 is good. And Kiss goes to work in the block.
Yeah, and a great job there. I really do think that Hungary has a very big advantage inside, even with this lineup on the court. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of their game plan, get the ball inside.
Kova gives Slovakia the 4-2 lead. Both teams look like they've relaxed a little. Gori has it outside. Doesn't look to be a threat as Kiss reverses it. Struder, little hesitation, goes left and kicks. The open 3, thinking the corner is no good. And Slovakia again in transition. Great push. The early 3 from the corner is no good. Great work again on the glass, and Iskova, well, she makes stretch the floor, but she goes to the glass hard.
And you always say to your bigs, go crash the glass, especially if you're on the outside, because it is hard to box out when you're all the way out there.
Kiss again, going to work with that right hand off the glass, doesn't get it to go this time. Jakobsen comes down with a defensive rebound, and Slovakia again, chance to play in transition. And Hungary have yet to really slow them down, but have turned it over. Struder leads the break. Well, he gets it on the inside, and again, they do a great job in transition of taking away the space. Keeps going to work again, has to step through. Second move is good.
Nice patience, nice realization there. Keesh saw the mismatch, took her time, no help side came, no double teams. Why not go up for yourself?
Play Kova, will kick. 3 is gone. It's short, doesn't get the drop at all. There's Dolinsky. Bray on the corner for 3 is no good. And this is up and down.
Yeah, it really is. We haven't had a lot of stops either. As you see both teams kind of, sucking for a little bit of wind. Like I said, it was an early start for them. Game starts at 12:15. Imagine what time they had to wake up. Not sure if they have video this morning. Probably a little bit of a teamwork, as I imagine they didn't have shoot-around.
Well, Pelyankova got through the traffic, but then fumbled it out. Get a replay of the nice move by Kiss. And you'd almost would like both teams just to take a breath.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the idea here going into that zone, saving his players a little bit on defense.
There's a foul as Struder misses the mid-range 2. There's no rhythm to anything at the moment, right? A little frantic?
Yeah, a little frantic, but I'm not surprised. We talked about that. First game jitters, and we're seeing it from both teams. I think some unnecessary turnovers, and, some shots look good, but they just haven't found that sweet spot yet.
Well, the kick to the 3 is off. He gets it on the inside, drops it in. They've got to get a reset. He comes off the screen, they'll call that, and that's something that Deborah Dubé is not going to enjoy. I think she thinks it was probably illegal, but
it's a pretty good screen in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Feet were set.
Substitutions coming in for Hungary, and it wasn't going to be long before Hatar came in, and she's joined in the game by Ref 9, who will definitely try and get after it at the point. Penetration, Paniankova kicks to the corner. Tough one off the dribble is good. Tough move by Duitsova. Both teams looking to play in that mid-range between the three-point line and the keyway. You're going to look to Keys on the inside. That's a hold. And in some ways, you just said it, they've got such an advantage on the inside. Maybe they need to just take a breath, slow it down, and power it in there.
Yeah, you saw it, you know. Oh, we see her coming back in right now, number 3, Jakubsova. She is the tallest player on that Slovakian team's bench, but just the height that they are giving up, almost at the 3, 4, 5 position. You and I have the perfect view. We're almost at their eye level, and with Kish, Hatar, even Gore seems to have an advantage against these Slovakian players.
Nye will hand it off. Lily. Kish with a 3 is short, way short. And while you want to see people look at their options, with a size advantage with her and Hatar, you'd have thought it's got to go inside first.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you saw Coach there explaining, hey, reverse the ball, get inside. We'll get you looks, we'll get you touches.
Again, off the dribble in that space, that mid-range space is no good for Mr. Nova. Hatar finds herself outside the three-point line. Now she goes inside, but the 2 is good. But Kiss is having a nice start to the game. Linsky. They are looking to shoot the ball quickly.
Yeah, they are. They haven't made a 3 yet, Slovakia. And I mentioned it, they are typically known as, you know, a 3-point shooting team. They do put up a lot of threes from all positions. So far, have not found the bottom of the net.
Right, nice penetration for the soft touch on the 2. Pretty move. The Dubé really leads this team in so many ways. Again, the early 3 is off. And I don't think Slovakia has seen a shot they don't like at the moment. Hatar with a big advantage on the inside. Just has to finish his great hands and help. Super help from the Natsaskova. Trinsky will take a breath, comes off the ball screen, wraps it, nice lead pass, but again, the help side, this time from Dubé is good.
Good defensive moves on both ends of the courts there by the opposite help side coming. And against a player like Hatar, you have to dig in and help, and exactly what you want as a coach, right? They go on the movement of the pass, not before, not after.
Orexkova checks in, moves it on. Sexkova gets it off. Sova for 3. Deep, deep, deep 3.
And if you're a Slovakia fan, that's what you want to see, them starting to hopefully knock down some threes, because they have had good looks, they just haven't made them.
Yep. After the made 3, they extend the defense, take some time out of the possession. Hatar will hand it off. Now moves it on. Fury looks inside, holding foul, and that's pretty much when she gets that first step on you, you're struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, you get caught behind on a screen, and if there's no bump.
Well, there's the deep 3. I think Slovakia, in terms of trying to win the game, are going to have to do it from there. Headline possession. Studer gets to the lane, needs to kick. Aho puts it on the floor, pulls up. Again, that mid-range. Can't get it to go. Silva. No one stops her, gets to the keyway, has it turned over, was indecisive. Great lead pass. Yuri for 2 is good. Turn that defense into offense.
Absolutely, great job, nice hands, way to get out and run, and the guard sees Gori.
Well, again, the penetration and kick, that's in and out. Now has a chance to push, but another good look. Kova just couldn't get it to go. Hatar again looking for position. They've got to be able to find her. Now she will step out and open the keyway. I hope penetrates. Gory goes into the space, off the glass for 2. And you almost got to think, why chase Hattar to the perimeter? Just suck it up underneath.
You know, but if you followed Hattar's career, you know that she can consistently knock down that free throw line shot.
With a breakaway too, and Hungary defense starting to generate their offense. Timeout, and Slovakia want to talk it over.
Yeah, just a nice read there defensively, denying that cross-court pass.
És utána meg kell szerezni a lepattanót. Nyilván lesz helyzetünk. Jobb az, hogyha kívülről...
If you're going to play this way, Shona, like stretching the floor, your execution and your attention to detail's got to really be spot on, because their turnovers are going to kill them.
Yeah, absolutely, especially, you know, those cross-court passes where if you turn it over, it's an easy fast break point, and we've seen that happen almost twice now. You just saw the statistics there. We know that Slovakia are going to shoot threes. The problem is when you've taken 8 3-pointers and only 6 2-pointers, and you're 4 for 6 from 2, and you're only 1 for 8 from 3, where do you find the balance? I know you're a 3-point shooting team, so you have to stick to, you know, your guns and what has given you success in the past. But they're being successful now from the 2-point range. Maybe you need to think about trying to get it inside or going to that mid-range pull-up like you talked about.
Yeah. Hey, they're always going to get the 3 late clock if they need it. So.
And we know that they can shoot deep threes. We've seen that, and they have quick releases. So, you know, maybe look for something else, and then at the end of the possession, go to your B plan.
Well, Corey has the 4 points. Again, Hungary extend the defense out of the timeout. Not that aggressively, but it takes some time out of the possession. Kola hands it off. He uses handoff and penetration a lot. Silva waits for the ball screen, looks to turn the corner, has to back out, needs a pass on the lift. Silva for the long 3. And Hattar just goes to the office and gets the rebound. Oh, the ball doesn't stick with this Hungarian team. They move it pretty well.
Yeah, they do. But, you know, like we mentioned quickly before the game started, these Hungarian players, they know each other. Most of them play in Hungary professionally during the league. Like I said, either on EuroLeague or FIBA Euro Cup teams. And a lot of them play together with each other.
Oh, and they had great youth career as a program. Another turnover. Great work, Studer on the breakaway. Just needs to relax and make the 2, which she does. And again, for all their quality and Hattar and size, it's their defense that's really being effective. 8-0 run for Hungary. And at some point, the Slovakian team has to stop this bleeding. It's over. Hungary just doing a super job on ball. Great cut. And the lane for 2, and Pelienkova, that's a super cut.
Good job there, way to draw the foul. Maybe calm down a little bit for Slovakia. And just a good read, a little bit of a height difference. Nice pass as well, though. And, you know, we talked about the defense, and I think for Hungary, defense has been leading to their offense. They already have 8 points off of turnovers. That's a lot, considering we've only played 1 quarter.
And you mentioned in the timeout situation there that maybe they've got to look to go inside. You don't have to penetrate. There's a great cut. Have a look closer to the ring, get a higher percentage shot. We'll stop the bleeding, only go 1 for 2 from the line. Now, it really looks this smaller backcourt for Hungary has really been productive since she's joined the game. Instead of worrying about Hattar, they've just gone smaller in the guard spots. Something like a 3-guard set. But now with a 3 is off. Hattar's on the glass. You're going to get charged. That's a great box out as Yakupova goes to work on the defensive glass.
Yeah, you said it. Great job. Nice little box out. Stays in front. Knew she had to make contact before going up for the ball, and that's exactly what she did.
when you've got the facility to go, this sort of three guard, because Aho's athletic enough to run the three for this. A nice lineup for Hungary. They look pretty quick looking this way. Sinski gets it into the half court again. Peliankova goes up, throws up a bit of a prayer, but gets her own rebound. It's just about getting away. And that'll do it for the end of the first quarter. And Hungary, after a slow start, with a little problem turning the ball over, established a bit of control there, leading.
Shooting the ball quite a bit from outside, and that's why we haven't seen a lot of free throw attempts. That last 2 free throws from Slovakia came with 30 seconds left in the first quarter. I do think Slovakia may be putting up a couple too many threes where they've had more success with that mid-range pull-up, and maybe it's something they need to think about finishing out this first half, trying to attack that a little bit more.
Well, we're going to get a look at the best plays of that first quarter. And you said, penetration, don't be reliant on the three. We're going to get a lot of looks here of Slovakia scoring from mid-range and going to the ring.
Absolutely, and you said it was a slow start for Hungary. They have a 4-point lead. It felt like the last 5-6 minutes of that quarter that Hungary had complete control. But if you're Slovakia and you're only down 4 right now, I'm feeling pretty good, especially when your leaders, Jakubsova, only has 2 points. We have Barbora, number 41. She's been kind of quiet, hasn't scored yet for them. You're in a pretty good situation after 10 minutes.
That's a great point. I mean, if you've gone 1 for 8 and you're not going to shoot 1 for 8 on every game, you're better than that. And you turn the ball over a couple of times too many. It's an easy solution for Slovakia if they can actually find that control of the ball, and they've got to trust that penetration, surely.
Yeah.
Well, both coaches would have taken some positives out of that first quarter as you get a look there at the QR code for the courtside app in terms of picking up all the action from both venues here at EuroBasket Women. So Slovakia will start with the possession. And again, everybody outside the three-point line. They spread the floor and really challenge you to guard them. One-on-one defense is at premium here. Linsky and kicks it. Attack that closeout and pop it. Great rotation defensively. They move the ball. The open three is good. Well, that sums up what we've been talking about. Penetrate first and find it.
And you said, great rotation defensively. It was an excellent rotation, but it was even better patience by Slovakia. They didn't rush. They were open. Barbora is able to knock down that shot at the end of the shot clock.
Gori for the 2 is good, and both teams with that spread and penetration, weave type sets create the defense is at premium here, really being challenged. Nova penetrates, kicks again for the 3. Peliankova is long with the open look. Struder stops, pops, is way short. And Struder's looks like she is the girl that's going to run this team.
Yeah, you said it. I think she had a really good year this year in FIBA EuroLeague. And just, she's been around for this Hungarian team for a while now, but these last 2 years in EuroLeague and Eurocup, she's done excellent playing for her professional team, and I think she's grown in confidence, and that's what we're seeing. And also, if you as a player have confidence, your coach is going to have more confidence in you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Jasinski will move it on. It's Kova. He drops it inside, nice pass. They go inside, outside, when they probably could have gone up. Struder in transition. Numbers not really favorite, but she steps through and kicks. And Hungary hit the second side and really makes some great decisions on it. Dubrey just opens up for her, but the 2 is good. And again, she's quick.
Yeah, great job there by Dubai. Patience, you kind of see it open up, and not intimidated to go up against the taller defenders.
Panienko, we've seen a lot of the basketball. Here's Brzezinski, goes up, left hand, tough finish. Protected the ball beautifully. Still only a 3-point game, and as you said, Slovakia should be very positive about that. Lassie penetrates, Struder with a feet set, and time buries the three.
And that's a good three-point shot. Like you said, her feet were set, she was open, nice little ball reversal movement.
Again turns the corner, Panienko with the extra pass, gets it back, steps back for the tough three and drains it. Well, the lid is off the basket right now.
Yeah, great job there. That's a tough shot. Here we get to see it. They called it a deep 2.
Really?
Yeah, I think her foot was just barely on the line.
Sweet looking release. Coming to play. Here's Struder in the half court. Keys has it high. Day comes and reverses. It's the second side. Hungary trying to spend a little bit more time with the basketball, just looking for space, and they find it with Gori with a beautiful 2 on the foul line.
He's had a great game for them early so far, as every time you think Slovakia kind of makes a big shot, maybe momentum will turn onto their side, Hungary come up with another good shot or a good take on their end.
Panienko with a quick rip through, rips it through, and Struder just a little close. And she picks up the personal. Brzezinski looks at options. Nice little roll, but they blow to 2. Chance to go the other way, and they could get numbers down the floor here. Drops it inside. Keys trying to go to work. Everybody digs. Foul called. That's one way to stop the break.
It's not a bad foul, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, it might have been a 2-point easy basket for Quiche underneath the basket. I mean, in the Quiche, good position. Why not take a foul? You have fouls to give right now.
Yep.
Especially when you're going up against a team that's taller than you. I think it's really important to use those fouls wisely in your quarter that you have. Yeah, you don't want to get into bonus early, but you want to slow down easy baskets for them.
Toss, that's the ball screen, a little hesitation. Skip. As he's got to put this up, deep on the clock is long, and Hatar can't pull it in, and Slovakia will have an opportunity going the other way. 6:18 to go in this first half, 25-19, and both teams really do feel as though they've found a little bit of rhythm in this second quarter.
Yeah, they look a little bit more comfortable now after that initial 10 minutes. And not surprised at all. I think we'll see this all game day long with all the games that we have, the kind of first game day jitters.
Well, Brzezinski on the penetration pulls the foul, and no one stopped her, so why should she pull out? Had the opportunity to go to the basket, foul, and an end line possession with a 14-second reset. Feet set, and they're not going to pass that one up. Roxkova can't get it to drop. Reverse layup is no good. Hatar's all over the glass, going to power up for 2, can't get it, goes again and gets it. Stayed with the play. Just like the feel of the way this Hungarian team share the ball.
Yeah, I don't think they really have any superstars on the team, but everyone knows their roles and capabilities, and that's what we're seeing. People are shooting the shots that they're open for. If they're not really open, they're trying to find the better person and the better shot.
Yep. And again, pushing the ball. Slovakia forced into having to stop that break with a foul. And they're getting it deep in transition. It's not just a case of run. They get it deep before they'll kick it out. More substitutions coming off the Slovakian bench. Satskova checks back in. The boy comes off a stagger. Oh, nice penetration, makes the 2. And for all the things that talked about size, their penetration has just been exceptional.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great little Kind of rejecting the on-ball screen, almost splitting it, and just no help side coming from Slovakia, and going up, finishing strong. And yeah, well, we talked about their height difference, but they're also skilled. We've seen them knock down threes, so they have to, you know, Slovakia has to also respect their three-point shooting, and that is what I think is opening up the lanes for them.
But they started the game in the 1-2-2 and stretched it, and it looked fairly effective. If there was penetration, they could collapse, and they've gone away from that.
Yeah, I think, you know, we talked about it. You need to get the ball inside if you're hungry. You need to get the ball inside. But at the same time, you need to get the ball inside. It doesn't have to necessarily be with just your bigs.
Yep.
Because we saw the possession before that. Had Targo offensive rebound. She missed the first, got her second, and able to put it back that way. I just, you know, we talked about it, and I really think every EuroBasket we see a Cinderella team. And you and I talked a little bit before the game. I think your bet is on Hungary possibly being that Cinderella team.
Yeah, you need a team to be that Cinderella team. You know, if you go back, you know, like it was Bosnia last time coming from nowhere, but they had a superstar. But they had players around her, and they were, the time before that, Great Britain go all the way to the semi-final. That's never a call you would have made at the start. And someone picks up momentum early. And you had that feel with Hungary yesterday in their press conference and their practice, and they've carried it out into this first game. They lead this 29-19, 5:20 to go in this first half. Kova again attacks it. And the teammates need to give her a better option. They need to move, and the foul on the loose ball is called, which that's a worrying sign for Slovakia. They're always the worst, those loose ball fouls where people are just going at it. Everybody's a little out of control. It just checks she still has 2 of everything. She's okay. Gudasova giving it up on the floor. Still out on the floor. By hands off. The ball doesn't stick. Milek looks to the corner. The open 3 with the feet set in and out. And that should be a Slovakia ball. There are times I like when referees, I'm not sure, I want to check with my co-official. They looked at each other, they got it right, and from where we were sitting, it looked like a white ball. But again, Hungary almost smelling the advantage they've got now. Up the floor, trying to force the issue.
Yeah, you feel like Hungary has kind of settled in. They know their advantages. They know where they, you know, can score. We see Slovakia still going into that zone, so you are leaving the corners open. But if you're playing against maybe a team that's a little bit more skilled than you, you have to make a sacrifice.
Yep.
And sort of bet on yourself and bet to take away something. And if they beat you the other way, then you kind of have to, you know, hats off to that team.
Well, Dubai's going to pick up a second foul on that penetration as Mr. Nova really, again, went hard and challenged the defense. Dubai gets a little cross up, clear foul. And we've got that rare thing in this game of free throws.
We haven't seen a lot of them so far in this game, but like you said, good job, nice attack, way to go aggressive. And talk about it all the time, you know, maybe calm down a little bit, draw a foul, get to the free throw line, easy buckets, one of the most higher percentage shots in the game. And why not, when you're down, to slowly crawl back in the game before halftime?
But you got to make your throws when you get them. Dubai comes down with a defensive rebound, needs a pass, just about recovered. That a turnover written all over it, but Chihuahua just had other ideas. She gets her first action of the game. Tar high, foul line jump shot, gets her own rebound, goes to work, draws the contact. And if that could be a worrying foul on Kova.
Yeah, that's going to be her second. And a little over 4 minutes to play. Do you leave her in or do you take her out? Problem is, you take her out, you're taking out one of your best players, and you're also taking out your tallest player.
Exactly.
I mean, they are in that zone, and unfortunately, the foul was on the offensive rebound, just a little bit of a reach-in, so got to be maybe, I guess, a little bit smarter as a player to say, okay, I don't have that rebound, I don't want to reach in.
And she must know she has to do major minutes for this team. So 30-20. Back to a double-digit margin. Kova on the outside will hand off. And turn her down on the inside. The penetration from Dudasova. Kova looks to open up the middle, does so. Little floater in the lane is fouled, and consecutive possessions where Slovakia are going to the line.
Yeah, why not? Stay aggressive, good patience. They had a ball reversal. Nice little jab step. Defense comes over a little bit too late. That's the same thing because, you know, they're not shooting the three ball great. We know that, Slovakia. But clearly if a team is shooting, you know, 12 three-point shot attempts in 16 minutes of play, they're three-point shooters. So what does that do? That opens up, normally that opens up drive lanes.
Yep.
Because you have to respect them, you got to get a little bit more closer. That help side is going to be more closer to the shooter.
Seskova gets her own rebound. I was going to say, they go only 1 for 2 again, but she recovers that situation with the offensive foul. We have another foul, as it looks like Turok picks up the personal. And they need someone to step up with some energy, and that's what Seskova did then.
Yeah.
Slovakia, having not been to the line apart from 2 in the whole of the first quarter, have a return trip. Kova makes the first. Possession by possession, just work your way back. 3:50 to go in this first half. At some point, they're going to make these threes as well, right? They're going to get around.
Absolutely. I mean, most tournaments, they almost lead in free three-point attempts. But, you know, Jakubsova, she couldn't really defend Hatar there. Maybe Hatar could have taken a little bit more patience, but a quick press break by Hungary, and they're just not able to convert.
Jakubsova is fouled as she catches it in the block, and Turok going to pick up 2 quick ones. A little tough, that one, because maybe then we have a benefit of a replay from the angle, but it comes down like that.
It's action, right?
Yeah, the referee's going to call that. This is an important part of the game here for Slovakia. If you've got Hungary in the team foul situation, still be the aggressor. She makes the free throw.
Well, really a good job here by Slovakia. You felt like Hungary were really catching their rhythm, going to pull away with it. But it's been 4 or 5 possessions now that Slovakia have drawn fouls, gathered themselves, gone to the free throw line, and it's a great way to get back into the game.
Yep. Dubai tries to answer with a 3 from the corner, which has nothing but string.
Well, in that kind of 1-3-1 type defense, or 1-2-2, you're open in the corner, and Hungary finally making Slovakia pay.
Ball screen to the middle. Penetration to kicks. Let's go over for 3 is no good. That's a rebound, though, and Hatar just takes care of business around the ring, though. Super rebound, but Skova can't get it away. But it turned it over the other way. Numbers down the floor here for Slovakia. 4-on-2 if they just find the right person. Skova inside out. The open 3 from the corner is good. And Slovakia turning their defense into offense and close it to a 5-point game.
Great job, nice patience, inside out action, gets an open 3, and they're able to knock it down.
Nye off the ball screen, goes inside, needs a pass, gets it to Hatar, sort of. Penetration in the lane, second step, and just before the would have been a violation, gets it away. We'll go to the free throw line. There's the foul. Was it before? Was it after? The referee doesn't even need to check it. She's a tough ass, isn't she? Like Deborah Dubai, we've seen her go to the basket. You don't close her out hard. She can make the 3. So we've got players with that sort of skill set.
If you're a Hungarian basketball fan too, you kind of have to be excited. I know, they talked about it yesterday in the press conference. They were really disappointed that they didn't make the 2021 edition of the FIBA Women's EuroBasket, right? and it was kind of regrouping, figuring out what they need to do. This team, their average age is only around 26.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned before the game, there's a lot of experience in the professional level. A lot of them play in Hungary on Euro Cup or Euro League teams, and that could only make your national team better.
Oh, totally. And he gets it off. The open three is short. And Keese is going to be called for the hold, and I think the referee is spot on with the call, because you can see the right arm's going to just hold, I think. Keese is not going to agree, obviously. But
does a player ever agree when a foul gets called against them?
But just by that increase in the aggression, really, Slovakia working their way back in here. And Jakubskova from the free throw line is pretty much money in the bank. Makes the first. And she's going to, over a course of the game, she's not going 1 for 5, you know, so they may be down, but it was still a lot of positive here for Slovakia.
Yeah, this is a player that you're used to, you know, having her average around 15 points for your team, but what a press break.
Keese with an easy 2. Exactly what you said. Hatta should have done the time before.
Took her time, went up, defense went by her.
Drinsky in the lane, tries to find Jakubskova, just about hangs on. 7 on the shot. Jakubskova's got to create here. There's a lot of traffic. Goes inside off the glass for 2. Super move by Orexkova. Just got balanced and kissed it off the window.
That was a great catch as well, but also a nice read. They found the mismatch. Good footwork. And
that's a smart move to take Jakubskova out for the last. There's no, you know, she survived with the 2 fouls. Get her out. Don't get too ambitious with looking after her on the floor.
yeah, I agree. You know, there's a minute 9 left in the half. Do you really want to risk it when you know you have 20 minutes after halftime where you are going to need her?
Yeah.
And you know, I talked about Slovakia. They really, you know, they have a lot of guards. They don't have a lot of inside players. But you just saw Jakubskova. She's going to the bench right now. She's played already 16 minutes. That's a lot.
That's
I mean,
a lot.
You're averaging 32 for a game. It's hard to play at a high intensity for 32 minutes, no matter who you are.
So Hungary are going to take the timeout after those free throws. You know, coach, I think, he's going to try and he's going to decide how many shots he wants in this last minute. So maybe he runs something quick. Tries to get as many possessions out this last minute and 9.
Yeah, why not? He still had 2 timeouts,
Yep.
so I think it's a good call
de
there.
utána zóna van. Oké, 2-3-as zóna van. Minden, figyelj, igen, ő megy hátra, ugye te mész hátra. Figyelj, a picket, ice, oké? Igen, ott is. Figyeljetek a 2 első egymásra, hogy a mélységet ne tudja megcsinálni belőle. Oké? Utána pedig el kell menni a lepattanóért. Te legyél szélen, a száj se legyen középen.
Well, that's a 10-second chance point for Slovakia. It's not a stat you'd have expected at the beginning of the game. You know, they've lived there to stay in this game.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job. But, you know, a lot of their shots are coming from deep 3-point range. We've seen a couple deep 2s. What is that? That gives you deep rebounds, and what they're doing is they're following their shots or they're rebounding in. And it's difficult to box out when you have guards who are also crashing the boards hard.
And teams like Slovakia are going to do that to you, right? Become scrappy, they're going to outwork you. They've got no right to get that many offensive rebounds, but they've created space to get them. So here we go, last. Well, I'm not really sure here what we're going to say on the time left. Only 13.9, I thought there was a minute to go.
There was a minute 9, yeah?
Oh, there we go. There wasn't there. I thought I was just losing it for a second in terms of, did I just lose
we miss a minute of our lives?
It's a minute just time, we're in a different time space now. I think it was 1:09, but we're having a bit of an issue with the clock. Hey, it's day 1. They're going to have these teething problems, and it's a nervous time for table officials too. Big event for them.
know everyone was here the last, first few days before the tournament started, trying to set up and get all those glitches out, but you never know.
Hey, it's their chance to get on TV.
Exactly. Just like us, when a ball goes out of bounds,
We're ready.
it sort of comes in our direction, we're smiling.
We're smiling all the time. Minute 9 to go. Turnover out of bounds, and Hungary are really going to get extra possessions now. Oh, has it? She's called it. They're going to exchange in the blocks and then go away. Struder comes off the double screen. Gory, what a move to the ring for 2. Tough, strong move.
Yeah. During that turnover, I was just looking at the bench of Slovakia, and Coach Suya just had his head in his hands, shaking his head.
Inkova, nice penetration, tries to scoop one. Another offensive rebound. This time it's Orexkova, who really has put a shift in this first half. 6 on the possession. Zurinsky gets it off. Orexkova can't get the 3 to go. Hungary have another opportunity in transition. The league has it. He has a touch. Has one-on-one if she wants to play. Hands it out.
I think they're going to slow it down, try and look for that last shot attempt.
Who's coming up with it? Boy, Slovakia just out working and get it. Paliankova from the halfway line doesn't get it to go. And we've reached halftime of game 1 on game day 1. And Hungary looked like they were getting away with it in that second quarter, but Slovakia came back, and at the half it's 40-32. Hungary have the 8-point lead.
For Slovakia,
Well, Mark, for me, it was free throw attempts. Look at that, 9 of 12. They went 1 of 2 the first few times to the line, but that's what's kept them in the game, and it's from their offensive rebounding as well. That's how they're getting to the free throw line. They're only down 8. You really felt like Hungary was going to blow away with it in that second quarter, but Slovakia kept their composure, started to make some free throws, started to get to the free throw line. Being down 8 after 20 to Hungary, I don't think that's a bad situation for Slovakia.
No, I 100% agree, and these best plays are going to, I think, underline the points we've been making about the way they spread the floor, but how they changed in that second quarter. Really did become the aggressor.
Yeah, they started driving to the basket, drew a few fouls, or they had good looks. 3 of 17 from three-point land, though. Not a great shooting percentage.
That's not a return.
No, it's got to. Do I think that they will do that in the second? No, but if it continues to, them to make 1 of every 8, maybe you have to think about going to something else.
Or do you say, hey, we're not that bad a shooting team, they will drop?
We do it.
You got to see, they're going to stay with it and see, but they've got to have something else. And I thought in the second quarter, that's, you caught it from here. That's what they really did. They started to be that team that was aggressive first.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are going to stick to your guns and shoot from outside, continue to crash the offensive rebound, because they have 8 offensive rebounds against a much taller Hungarian team. So go ahead. They're not going to box you out. See if you can get second possessions.
And what about Gory in that first half? I mean, mid-range looked sweet from there. Penetration was tough. Hungary have a lot of weapons, a lot of balance on their scoring, and they have 10 assists. They share the ball really well. But it's been probably as predicted a game, but it's still there for the Slovakians.
Absolutely. And you said it, Gore, it was kind of all her. Perfect game, 11 points, 5 of 5. Who's going to step up for Hungary in the second half?
Okay, we'll be back after
Unique character.
For the second half.
Unique chemistry.
FIBA Basketball World Cup is the peak of the game.
It's the toughest competition in the basketball world to win.
That is why I will be there.
Because when you win for one,
you win for all.
Oh, what a pass that was. Goodness gracious me, are you kidding me? Wonderful.
is what I was talking about. The Slovenian team is such fun to watch.
Great aggressive take by Gabby Williams. Slovakia with another opportunity to cut into this lead. Jones! Possible 4-point play, people! Slovakia making a comeback here in this fourth quarter! Don't go away! Really Massey, spin move, always works the lead there.
Here's where they might do some damage. Spain, open floor, Dominguez goes right at Bentley. Oh, she makes an incredible shot. Unbelievable. Falling down. Dominguez, look at this.
Yep, sure is a foul. And a nice soft touch in there.
There's the backboard I was telling you about. That's why you use it.
There we go.
It can be your friend.
Nice spin move from Lloyd there. We have about a 2-second differential. Shot clock, game clock, Julia Alban, and they score! What a big time shot from a big time player.
Well, welcome back to Ljubljana. Players back out on the floor right now. Would have been an interesting Slovakian locker room, right? Because they've stayed in the game, not playing well. You know, they've got to do something different, perhaps. Though.
Yeah, you know, as soon as they can, I think, knock down a few more better consistent three-point shots, we'll see maybe their attitude change a little bit and maybe a little bit more light. That being said, you can't be disappointed only being down 8 points. And I think Hungary had a good first half. You know, yeah, they started a little bit slow, but we talked about it. 7 players have scored for Hungary already in the first half. That's unusual at this level. Yeah. So you know that they're an unselfish team, but an unselfish team, and they're also very capable at scoring from all positions and everyone on the team. So that's a big positive if you're Hungary and, you know, you're looking, you don't care whose turn it is, okay? So that first half was, you know, let's talk about Gore. She was 5 of 5, perfect from the field, 11 points. Someone else is going to be able to step up because maybe Slovakia will defend, you know, her differently now. Slovakia, on the other hand, you know, what are they missing? Because they're missing a little bit of something. They're still in the game, and I still think they could come back and win this, but they need to, you know, yeah, you can rely on your offensive rebounds and getting to the free throw line. For me, that's kind of an easy fix if you're, you know, Hungarian's coach. You say, okay, you guys need to box out, end the story, and be ready to guard penetration.
You know, the other point you made that I think is really worthwhile sort of following up on is the point you made about when the Slovakians have to pick what they're going to give up. And they started the game, they collapsed, they attacked the ball when it went inside. And then, okay, Hungary made a couple of deep twos in the corners. What do you think they're going to have to decide to give up?
You know what? I think because they don't have a lot of inside presence, Slovakia, we're going to continue to see them in that zone that is going to give up those open three-point looks. You know what? Go ahead, stick to that. Bet on it that they're not going to make a high percentage, but you got to box out. We saw them give up a couple box out from those long misses and easy putbacks or free throw attempts. It's a tall team. You don't want to let them have the ball inside with Hatar. Kish, who had a great first few possessions of the game. Let's not forget her. Gore, she's an inside player. Go with your gut, go with your instinct. Maybe just be a little bit more physical at the end of the possession.
And the other thing they did well when they did do that, they got a lot of joy in transition. You know, they were aggressive going to the basket, drew some fouls, went to the free throw line. You know, so there's a way that Slovakia can really dig in and find a way to make this competitive. And then that three-point percentage when they start to make it could be a real factor for them in terms of getting that run that could make the difference.
Absolutely. I think if Slovakia can kind of bet on their defense, get the box out, push the tempo, and not turn the ball over, we're going to see them, you know, crawl back into this game. They had 8 turnovers, and those 8 turnovers led to a lot of scores on the other end. You know, Hungary with 12 points off of turnovers. That's a lot.
Well, Hatar is going to start the second half. And again, they're going with that 3 guards plus the 2 on the inside with Aho as the 3, which looked really quite effective because they looked quick with that 3-guard set.
Yeah, they did. And you know,
such a tough ask to guard. You know, 3 guards putting on the floor, it's a hard ask.
It really is. It really is to be able to defend them and then also take away maybe easy catches for Hatar underneath the paint. And, you know, I think Slovakia, we're going to see them come out in that same defense. Hungary are only 2 of 9 from three-point range, but they have 24 inside points.
Yeah.
So you need to make that more difficult for them. They're shooting 70% from inside the paint.
Well, you just, as you said, pick the poison and then make sure they don't get those. Well, welcome back, wherever you're joining us from. Possession for this third quarter. We'll start with Hungary. They have the 8-point lead and the basketball. Struder, who had putting a long shift in that first half. They go into that handoff. Targets a touch. Gore outside the 3 will hold the basketball. Hatar lifts to the high post, looks down low. Great rotation defensively And if there's a great example of what you were talking about, that was it. The halfway line three is no good, but that's the defense, right?
Absolutely. Play good defense, maybe a little bit more physical, try and push them further out from where they want to catch it, and that's exactly what we saw.
So Slovakia having got the stop, now want to underline that start with the possession and the score. Kova hands it off. The mid-range two, and Hatar is charged with a block, which she is beside herself.
She does not like it. Neither do the fans in the background behind the Hungarian bench. So I imagine we're going to see the replay here. Well, maybe not.
Not straight away anyway. But you get a stop, and then you get a 12-foot look. So it's a good start, whether it's a foul or not, but...
We talk about it all the time, though, Mark. The fouls and maybe missed calls or calls by the refs, I promise you, at the end of a 40-minute game, it usually averages out.
Yeah. Kova makes both, closes it to a 6-point game. Gori has it outside. We'll hand it off. The league who was really effective in that first half. Hatar has it. Gori tries to post up with a huge size advantage. And at times, that's all you have to be, patient enough to get the right passing angle, throw it inside. There's only going to be a foul. The only outcome for Nova. It's just going to go long, out of bounds. The league has it. Time to pick and pot. That's another blocking foul. That's 2 quick fouls, and that's Kova picks up the personal. A little late on the show.
I actually don't think you have to show that hard, considering how Hungary has been shooting the ball from outside. You know, you can stay in a sort of flat situation.
Well, trying to force it on the inside, and then Hatar picks up a quick loose ball foul, which is 2 quick ones for her.
That's going to be her 3rd, so I would not be surprised if she goes to the bench.
Well, she was going to the bench.
She was, you know, by herself. Not sure Coach realizes that she has 3.
Here's Kova, hands it off. Zinski comes off the ball screen. Gori just contains it. Kova for 3 is off. Gori cleans up the mess on the glass, and Hungary have an opportunity in the half court. Lee gets the 2.
Nice job, good body control there. Takes the contact, and it's going to be the continuation call by the referee, right? Picks up the dribble, yeah, there you go.
Does a great job of protecting the ball through the contact. Now has to step up, make the +1. The coach still leaves Hatar in the game. Confidence in his big girl to stay clean.
That is absolutely right. What I like is, you know, I do think this Hungarian team has a very deep bench, and we're seeing that because this is a different starting 5, starting the 3rd than the start of the game. So to have that kind of confidence in all your players is very beneficial for a coach there.
Kova was open, Panikova with that step back, which is almost trademark. Doesn't get it to go. Aho looks to push, but and Jakubskova's going to be as unhappy as Hatar was.
And that's also going to be her 3rd, so both big players in the game right now. Looks like they're going to stay in the game, and both of them, Hatar and Jakubskova, tough call. I saw her hook the girl early before the pass was even there. Sort of unnecessary. I don't think she needed to.
No. Hatar just is held. Slovakia with 7:48 to go in the 3rd in the penalty. That definitely wasn't on the script in that locker room. But they've shared them out. There's only really Jakubskova who has the 3.
The only trouble here, you know, use your fouls wisely, and we see Slovakia now already have committed over 5 team fouls. So Hungary 7:48 left in the third quarter. They're going to be going to the free throw line every foul from here on out.
In the half court. To the Silva. Skinsky is nice pass. Foul on the play and one. Super little penetration. Skinsky just went baseline. No one rotated.
Great job. It was a nice heads-up play there by the captain and the leader of this team. Patience, you know. She didn't really pick up her dribble too early, waited for the crowd to leave.
Well, if we didn't think we had enough free throws in the first quarter in particular, we are definitely going to see some free throws in this third quarter. The 1-2, 1-1 trap again. They beat it pretty easily in the first half by doing this. Great pass to beat the press. Ahoy doesn't like the numbers, decides to get it into the half court. Finds the corner. The leak for three is good. Super ball movement. Back to a double-digit lead.
You know, we mentioned it. That's what you're giving up. Are those corner threes.
And Hatar will sit down now. As does Boris Kokova sits, so high pick and roll. Kokova will go short roll and re-screen. Skinsky nowhere to go and no space. In fact, her own teammates really took away the space. Puts up the three at the end of the clock, doesn't get it to go, but they chase it down and come up with the offensive rebound. Great work again on the offensive glass.
Good job by Slovakia. It's what kept them alive in that first half.
And Aho's going to be confused by that call. Referees look like they decided to call this a little tight at the start of the third. Players have just got to read it and adapt. The goal becomes high.
Yeah, one more foul for Hungary, and we'll see Slovakia in the bonus as well.
Ski, beautiful little lean and jump shot. And they just won't go away.
No, they won't. And you know, we talked about it. I think getting a win on your first day of a major competition is enormous just as far as momentum and confidence goes.
Dory's on the glass. This is a super job at outworking her opponent. Little handoff, gets it back. Mid-range two is short. Gory just going after it, going to work. Ahoy benefits from her work, and Hungary have another 14. In fact, they've given them a 24 because they said there was a change. Super finish by Keese.
Great job there by Gory. Just the hustle play, which actually leads to this nice find. Kish underneath the basket. She's not going to miss. Keeps the ball high, goes up strong. But it really all started with the hustle play by Gory.
Jakinskova will sit. Mr. Nova checks in. Kalinkova will step out. He's got a lot of responsibility with this lineup on the floor in terms of scoring. Kova gets it into the half court. Silva has it out top. Zinski looks to create off that pick. Nice find. Open three is good. Kova steps in and just knocks down the three off the super find.
Zinski there, set that play up, finds her open shooter. Oh, how about that little move?
Game coming alive in the third quarter. Zinski again penetrates, takes a tough one. Maybe not the best decision. Going the other way. Leak, again, super pass. Aho comes out, looks at her options. And Gory's involved around the ball a lot, really is doing a nice job. Hungary shifted again. Leak with three is off.
She's knocked down one this quarter, but you did have Gory there with a mismatch underneath the basket. Yep. Not sure about that three-point shot attempt.
Chance to cut this to a 6-point game, 5-point game, depending on what they make. If they make on this possession. Stanova gets it up inside the reverse. Layup is good, super finish.
Patience there by Slovakia. Hungary kind of picked up the on-ball pressure, but they didn't turn it over. Just a nice reversal, easy two-point basket, and they're not going away, Mark.
Absolutely not. It hasn't gone up on the graphic at the moment. There's a whistle on the play, which they've called offensive on Gori. So a 6-point game and possession. Could cut it to 3 or 2 or 4 on this position. So what do? You bring your captain back in to steady the ship. Deborah Dorbay checks back in. First time she's been in the game in this second half.
She had a good first half though, but picked up 2 fouls. So I'm not surprised she started on the bench with those 2 fouls.
Well, as you said, they've got the depth, haven't they, to really rotate. Kudasova tries to back out, gets some space, goes hard to the middle. Second step, takes the tough one, doesn't get the soft drop, but again, they're on the glass. They're just putting in a huge shift on the offensive boards. Skova, nice lift. Gonna have to put this up. And they've fouled the jump shooter, and Dubé comes straight back into the game and picks up a third. And whether she thinks she hit her or not, she was definitely moving forward.
I was just about to say, I'm not sure she might have made contact with her arm, but you have to let the shooter land, and I think she took away that landing space. That it's dangerous, and I understand why refs are really concentrating on, making that call. A player needs to be able to land within their, where they took off.
And you got to feel confident. You've been a player. The last thing you need is no confidence of where you're going to land.
Nem kell félni, csak sprintelni előre, és passzolni. Ezt beszéltük mindig. A csapatjátékunk
alapja. If you want the live stats and more, you can scan that barcode. Keep up to date with why things are happening and who's hot and who's not. Good timing for the timeout for Hungary, though. It was getting a little bit, there was momentum for Slovakia.
Absolutely, we saw that 10-point lead and then a little bit of a run by Slovakia. But I felt like this all game, every time you feel like Hungary are in control, they're probably just going to cruise to a win. Slovakia is not giving up. And I think this is a huge opportunity for Slovakia to get a win here on game day 1 over, on paper at least, maybe a better team than them. And it's so important. I mean, you want to get out of group phase, and if you can get a win, 1 win under your belt, and then see how the rest of group phase turns out, it changes everything.
Absolutely right. And these are huge 3 throws coming back after the timeout. The 3 throws being made here, cut it to a 4-point game. The last thing Slovakia need to do here is not take advantage of this situation.
And like players and like coaches, especially the coaches, you look at who's in your group phase and you say, okay, they're with Serbia and Turkey, right? All right. Historically, you're going to say Serbia's going to beat everyone and, go 3-0 in group phase. All right, who's going to finish 2nd and 3rd? Because the 4th place team doesn't move on. So you kind of say, all right, for Slovakia, if you're looking at it, you're saying, all right, maybe Hungary is our best chance to get a win. Not sure, but maybe.
Oh, yeah. No, you're 100% right. I mean, Turkey and Serbia are much higher ranked in the FIBA rankings. These two are at 22 and 24, so this could go either way from that perspective. And another turnover. Slovakia in transition, off the glass for 2 is good. And Kudasova, just no one stopped her, so coast to coast and finished the play.
So that 10-point lead we saw a few minutes ago is now just a 3-point lead for Hungary.
Really puts it on the floor, goes inside. Key second step, can't finish the play, but will go to the free throw line. And you got to go inside in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Hungary's been in bonus since about that 7 and 40-minute mark to start this 3rd quarter, and they really haven't attacked or got to the free throw line after that. And, I'm sure that's something that you're looking at and saying, hey, we've been in bonus the last 4 minutes. How have we not gone to the free throw line more? Because we're not being aggressive.
Yep. Well, Coach Sajay has a very solid lineup on the floor right now. As big as he can go on the inside. And he's getting Struder's back in, so he knows he has to stem this momentum swing. Skova hands it off. Sova fires it, doesn't get it, goes to, and surely get a better one. Great work on the glass. Letskova comes down with it. 1 on 3, ends up with the basketball.
And it's almost hustle offensive rebounds that we're seeing by Slovakia.
And hustle plays like that to get it alive. The long two is short, and another offensive rebound. And Hungary are going to have nightmares about this offensive rebounding stat.
Yeah, they really are. And what I meant by hustle offensive rebounds.
Oh, Oreskova for 3.
You know, they're not coming up with it, but they're getting tips on it, and they're tipping it out to their teammates. And they're the ones on the floor because they know how important every second chance possession is for them right now.
They just outwork for those two. Close it to a 2-point game. And you know Hungary are going to feel the pressure now. Duda comes off the screen, but it's not aggressive. Dubai in the corner, skips it. Keys for 3, answers. And you can see the reaction, how important that was.
Nice response there. Kids, their best player so far in this game. Gore's been quiet. She now has 15 points. They're relying on her, especially in this third quarter.
Letskova hesitates, gets to the lane, needs a pass. Deep on the clock, they have to put it up. And this time, Hungary do secure possession. And only because it went out of bounds.
Yeah. But I think it was just a nice, there we saw that last 3-point shot attempt there by Slovakia where they cut the lead.
Peace outside, who's had a super game. Atar out top, that's a holding foul, and they'll shoot free throws. And again, making stuff happen on cuts to the ring. They have to foul the cut. And Hungary will go to the free throw line.
So Kish had 8 points at halftime, and she has 15 now. So a great third quarter for her, for this Hungarian team. As we see, she's probably going to add to that 7 points in the third here at the free throw line.
But it hasn't been a real hurry because she didn't start the quarter, did she? Because Gore started with Atar.
Yeah, you're right.
But like at the minute when she's come in, she has really steadied the ship. Misses the throw on cue, obviously, after we both said how well she's done. But she has had a super game. Chance to make this a 6-point advantage, which she does.
And you know, you mentioned it at the beginning of the game, Mark, that, okay, a win is obviously the most important thing and what you want, but if you do lose, you want it to be by the lowest amount of points possible in case, because I couldn't tell you who's going to finish first, second, third, fourth in this group.
Oh, absolutely not. Letskova looking for options. Winsky. She saw the option, just couldn't make the pass. Just needed to let the play develop a little, turns it over, and they can't undo all the good work with turnovers. They've got to make Hungary earn stopping this momentum, not by turning it over. Now they're up the floor. Here comes Struder.
You know, they had 8 turnovers at halftime, so they have done a much better job. They only have 2 turnovers in this quarter, but maybe a little bit more patience. Wait for the player to really get open before trying to find the pass.
Same play, finds Keese on the inside, steps through, second step, doesn't get it to go. Good defensive effort. Really did challenge the shooter, did Mr. Nova.
We see
Struder hunted the ball, and with both teams in a penalty, they're going to shoot it. 40 seconds left in the quarter. Chance to get it back to a 4-point game.
I just think it's a little bit, I understand trying to pick the pocket, but maybe a little bit of an unnecessary foul, knowing that you're in bonus. I mean, I like the attitude, I like the, you know, defensive aggressiveness, but you need to be smart, especially at the end of quarters.
Yeah.
And Jakubsova, she picked up that third foul, so she sat on the bench for quite a lot of this third quarter. And I really think for them to win, they need to get her open. Yeah. What I like is that she's not forcing it. She's not forcing bad shots. But I think they rely on her heavily for her scoring. And she only has 6 points in this game so far. She is really someone who averages around 15 points a game for them in, you know, in competitions, EuroBasket, the EuroBasket qualifiers. They need her to score.
So Slovakia showed the zone. Then they look like they come out of it and chase. Hatar high, and Keese is fouled again, and they're going to call that offensive.
All three of the refs had the same offensive foul call, so.
I can only think the way she got her elbow up.
Oh yeah, no, easily. That was a great call.
Yeah. That's why we're here and the referees are out there. I mean, she did literally, not the normal hook, she hooked the other way around. It's a hook.
One of those calls, that kind of a play, I feel like I always say it's a veteran play. You see a lot of veterans they know how to hook, but then they let go. They release, come back and hook. There it was a great call by the referees.
Well, Slovakia trying to take the last shot off the quarter, which will be big. You could close this to a 1 or a 2-point game. You'd love to see an open look, and here it is. Jasinski for 3, it's way off. But they get the offensive rebound, and the putback is good. And that whole series just sums up how Slovakia have managed to drag themselves back to make this a 2-point game. They have just outworked Hungary on the glass. It's not anything else apart from how hard they have done their work on the offensive ball. They trail by 2, 55-53 at the end of 3.
Well, Mark, I mean, for me, it's all about the offensive rebounds and getting to the free throw line for Slovakia. I mean, Hungary ran away. They had a double-digit lead in this third quarter, and then all of a sudden now Slovakia only trailing by 2. And let's not forget, they did that with one of their best players, Jakubsova, on the bench. So really everyone's stepping up. And also what I like too is the Slovakian team. They could have bowed their heads, a few minutes into the third quarter and say, okay, it's just not going tonight for us. But they didn't. They dug down and they figured out how to crawl back into this game. And wow, for me, it's the offensive rebound. 13 offensive rebounds, and we still have 10 more minutes left to play.
That's the game, isn't it? That's the game. But there's the other point, and you made it. It's the great thing about FIBA national team competition. The best player sits, foul trouble, and then you look at who's stepping up, and they just did. And we said during the commentary that Jurinski had to lead the floor. She found open players, and people stepped up and made big shots. It's game on.
What I like, I talked about it at halftime. I said, I think this Hungarian team can be dangerous because they've already had 7 players score in the first half. Guess what? Slovakia are proving that they have more than a couple players who can score because they now have 8 players, I believe, who have scored for them. So really, everyone's stepping up and having and participating when they need to. And right now, momentum is all Slovakia.
Wow. It's definitely game on, and if you saw the QR code, and if you want to watch all of these games and get all the action across it, get that courtside app, take in all the action. Here it is, start of the fourth quarter. Slovakia will have the possession. Setskova will inbound. Jurinski is her intended receiver, but Hungary all over the lane, but great recognition by Sikova. She was guarded by Hatta. She was going to be the lead. Palenkova also sat. Nice pass. Beautiful first step for 2. Sikova takes it to the rack for 2.
I said it. She needs to step up. 6 points. 8 points now. I feel like this is going to be her fourth quarter.
Well, we've got a new ball game with 9:30 to go. Tied up at 55. Gobet has it. That's going to be a holding foul. Could have been a hook, but let's go all over Deborah Gobet. And expectation could be a real weight. It's like the expectation on Hungary is to win this. They're feeling it right now. Tied at 55. Gobet has it. She'll take the full screen for Hatar, but kick it on. I hope skips it. Keese thinks about the 3, turns it down. Hatar is open on the inside. They turn it down and turn it over. And Keese is going to be replaced by Yori. And for the first time in the game after that first couple of minutes, Hungary second-guessed themselves on that possession.
They absolutely did. They should have gone inside. You need to throw the ball up to the big woman, Hatar, underneath the basket and just let her go get it.
Paninkova is fouled on the rip through. She's quick when she makes that. It's a tough ass to defend that. She does a great job at ripping through.
Yeah, good awareness of where her defender is and realizes there's no way she can be able to stop me if I rip too hard.
Jurinsky, great hands. You can't stand and for a moment, real quickness by Kanaski. Gori wide open, but poor pass, but super effort by Yakimtsova. On the break, for two is fouled, so they have to earn him on the line.
How much do you love a post player that does the defensive job? She comes up to the steal. She won't be credited for it, but she's the one who touched the ball, forced the steal, gets out, and is the first player down on the offensive end. And they have good whereabouts to say, you know what, let's throw it up to our big man running, let's reward her.
Well, this is a chance for Slovakia to lead the game for the first time since the first quarter. Have to take the advantage, at least to go one up is a big one up. This is Hungarian team at the moment, looks like it's talented and everything else. A little second guessing going on. Go 0 for 2. Dubai will bring it. Stops, pops, fills it up. Dubai steps in as the captain and just knocks down the three. Jasinski penetrates, kicks it. The tough two on the pull-up is no good.
I think you need to calm down a little bit. Okay,
Yep.
You gave up a three on the other end, but it's all right. You don't need to come up with that tying shot the next possession. Still lots of time on the court.
Dubai with a tough one to the inside, doesn't get it. Kanaski, the smallest player on the floor, gets the offensive rebound. And Deborah Dubai gets the two. Goes 5 points unanswered and gives them back a 5-point lead. Timeout, Slovakia.
Well, talk about a momentum change. That missed opportunity to go up 2, I think, on the free throw line by Slovakia, and then 5 quick points by the captain, and just hustle plays and awareness. And you know, this is why I love captains. You expect them to step up when they're needed, and that's exactly what we've seen here by Dubai the first couple minutes of this quarter.
Wow, the three was just, I'm going to take this because I need to do this for the group. And she stroked it. Slovakia with the timeout.
3 side pre Terezu. Ale ty keď cítiš dve na sebe, daj to na Ivanu za teba. Hej. Máme 3 fauly dobrú, znova. Malo agresivity na dregu.
Well, they needed a calming timeout. They're getting the time on timeout.
Yeah, this is his first time out. I think it's a smart idea. You know, he didn't have to use any in the third quarter because they had a good third quarter. I know you know, if the game is close, you want to keep a couple timeouts for the end of the game, but they needed to calm down. It's okay. There's a lot of time left in this game.
And they just have to keep doing what they were doing. That's what caused the second guessing from Hungary. Now Hungary out of the timeout, show a little pressure. Slovakia have to get a good shot coming out the timeout. And again, Hatar's not going to guard full court. So you just give it to Morisakova. Sinova moves in on Paninkova, turns the corner, a little quick release. Hatar's going to be charged with a foul. She doesn't have to come that far. She'd already changed the shot.
I don't think she really needs to jump either. Let's see this. Problem is we can't see the semicircle. I think she was also inside the circle. Yeah. You know. And she has the right to jump straight up, correct?
Yep.
She was moving a little bit on that jump.
Yeah, definitely going that way.
Yeah, like you said, she's already adjusted the shot. She's so tall. Not a lot of short guards are used to, you know, working on finishes over tall players like that. Because there's not many. I think she might be the one and only.
Yeah. And she'd already released it almost, but makes the first.
That was a great read and great action out of the timeout by Slovakia, though. I like that little, you know, rip, hand off, attack the basket.
So Hungary with the 4-point lead in the basketball. Dubai has it, moves it on. As he goes inside, Gori goes to the far side of the ring and uses that body to protect the basketball. Soft touch off the glass for 2. throw it to the gut of the defense. Paniko drops the handoff, turns the corner, gets the same action, goes inside with a pass. Great first step. Blows the layup. You couldn't run it any better.
No, great job. Got Hatar off her feet.
Nails another three. Well, when you need to take the weight of your team on your shoulders, she's just done it.
8 points in this quarter. It's only been 3 minutes, Mark.
Now you know why, as well as being a great player, what a great captain. Responsibility just taken. Go on.
She was rested though. She spent quite a few minutes on the bench in that third quarter. And you know, I kind of question why she didn't play more in that third, and maybe he was saving her for the fourth.
Wow, 40-minute game. He needs the right people out there right now, and he's surprised Struder's not back in yet. But apart from that, he's got the guys who have played well today on the floor right now. Great defense by Keys, just would not give up the passing lane.
Slovakia, much better job in the first half with turnovers, but in my opinion, you can't turn it over like that. Not in a tight game, in a game, you know.
Benassi gets it, Gori lifts for the three, and fills it up, and you can't see the reaction of that Hungarian bench. They just lived every moment of that shot.
I think it's Coach Zukeli. I wish the cameras caught him because he is enjoying what he's seeing in this fourth quarter. There you go.
And Gori's been immense.
Imame jeden faul.
Absolutely
immense.
immense.
Pás do zóny, do low postu, trošku sa oprú layup. Tu akceptujete každú clonu, akceptujete, trafíte, bez toho, aby ste trafili hráča. Jasné, že máme výpomoc,
chance to lead the game at 54 apiece. You missed both free throws. You only scored 2 points, and it's a 14-2 run. Dubai and Gori, I don't think they've taken a bad shot. They've all been on-balance shots they want to take.
And shots within their, you know, their repertoire, their skill set.
Yeah. Hey, they were challenged. They came up with some answers. Slovakia now, with plenty of time left in the game, have been challenged back and now have to find the answers from their end. The margin isn't undoable at all. There's still an enormous amount of time left in the game. But they have to get shots they want. You've got to think Hungary are going to come out, show a little pressure, and try and disrupt. But they got a good shot last time. This time they blew the little two-footer.
Really, for me, a lot of it had to do with those free throw misses when the game was tied 55-55. But we've seen Hungary go on a run the first 3.5 minutes. Hey, guess what? Slovakia can do exactly the same thing.
Absolutely. Game of runs. Oreskova hands it off. Again, hand off, didn't turn the corner though. Show by Gori, really take them out of the shape they want. Late clock pick and roll, got to put up the prayer. It's not answered. And Gori this time takes care of the work on the defensive glass.
Yeah, nice defense there. Had to put up a tough shot.
And there's a foul. And while I'm waiting for Strude to come back in the game, Veronica Kanyasi's done a great job handling the basketball.
She came up with that big offensive rebound. Smallest player on the floor, found Dubai underneath the basket for one of her 2 points.
But as you've said a number of times, you know, they're playing at a great level, these guys. Keys for three is no good, and she gets another offensive rebound. She's almost doing to Slovakia what they've been doing to Hungary. Yassi penetrates, goes up with a tough one off the glass, doesn't get in there. Keys is on the glass for 2. It's almost like the energy and the effort is draining out of Slovakia.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, for a team that only knocked down 4 3-pointers in the first 30 minutes and then to come out in the first part of this fourth quarter and knock down 3 Hungary, it just opens everything else up. Yeah. That really gives you momentum.
And that's a blocking foul on Durinsky, and you can't say enough great things about the way Deborah Dubai has been in the fourth quarter. I mean, she has After the game, she will be selling hot dogs and signing autographs, because there is that sizable Hungarian fans, and they looked a little worried, but they had no need to be as she stepped back into the game. Keys gets open. Yassi gets a little hole on the penetration, gives it to Kiss on the pop, doesn't get it to go, and there's a whistle on the foul. And again, it's really the last few minutes in this fourth quarter reversed the role.
Absolutely, you said it. Started knocking down some outside shots, but for me it's more offensive rebounding, just kind of being the more aggressors all around.
Well, Gory's had a game. I mean, work rate, performance in so many ways. As Horiskova fouls out, that's a loss because of her effort for Slovakia. Dubai has it, puts it on the floor, goes baseline, tries to create the angle, but gets fouled and will go to the free throw line. The point you've made about the level this Hungarian group is playing, and when it comes down to tight situations, week in, week out, they're having to perform at that level.
Yeah, you know, I talked about how they're young, you know, average age of 26. They do have a couple of veterans, more so in Dubai and Qatar. You know, they've been around. They missed out in 2021. So maybe they miss a little bit of experience, and I did kind of question, especially during that third quarter, who would be the experienced player to step up. And we've seen it, Dubai and Gore, in my opinion.
Yep.
You can see they know what it takes to win and what they need to do, and they didn't get rattled when Slovakia went on their run and tied the game.
Another offensive rebound. This time Dubai gets it. Keith wants it. Great seal, easy two. All the work was done on the catch. The last throw of the dice for Slovakia as they take the timeout, or the second timeout, sorry. They're just clutching at straws right now. They need something dramatic to change. Down 18, and it's been 18 points in about 5 minutes.
And he's used his three timeouts in the last 5 minutes. Trying to figure anything out for his team. And, you know, for me, they had a chance to win this game.
Yeah.
And the fourth quarter, nothing has gone their way, but we talked about it. Yeah, a win's the most important, but then if you lose, it's by the least amount of points. And right now, they're just letting hopes of getting a close loss at the worst run away from them.
Yeah, if they get in a three-way tie, they're done. Unless one of the, two of the teams in the three-way tie are not going to have big losses. One other may, but they put themselves in a hole. And while positive momentum really works for you, digging a hole in game one is tough to bounce back from, especially in this group where they've got Serbia or Turkey to play. So life doesn't get any easier. EuroBasket women is just game in, game out. Anybody beats anybody. So 4:33 to go, 74 to 56. To 2 run. It's an amazing turnaround after Dubai's three just changed the momentum in one play. Penetration off the glass for 2 is good. Tough finish by Dudasova.
Tough finish, nice call out of the timeout. They really needed to see the ball go through the basket. Maybe now this will give them a little bit more momentum, but can't get fouls that far away from the basket.
Jakubskova had no real chance to actually steal that. So the last thing you need to do is be standing there watching Keith make another free throw. You've just scored, you've got the score, you need to stop, not to watch Keith make the first of the free throws. Two for 2 from the line, back to an 18-point game. We've got to do it all again. And as Sean has said, however tough the win may be from here, they've got to reduce this margin. Kova will hand it off. They've done a super job at guarding Jakinskova all over the floor. She dives, find the open corner, great closeout. Gori comes down with a rebound, recovered by Peliankova. They'll get a new 24, but Gori's going to be charged with a personal, and quite right, he just accepts it, as frustrated as she may feel. You know, smile at the referee normally lets you get away with almost anything.
Well, you know, a smile's better than turning around and...
Yeah, and then again, you're up 18, you can smile. Skova comes off, it's like ghost screen action and kicks. The three is short, and they have just dried up on the offensive glass. He goes up for two, and they're just running in stuff now. Conversely, it's crucial for Hungary to try and rack up as big a score as they can. Peliankova penetrates. Jakinskova just had the chance to set the feet and knock it down, but turned it down.
Yeah, you said it. It's also important for Hungary. You're not going to let up because you want to try and win by as much as possible.
Yeah. A big win almost guarantees them at least the top 3 spot.
Yes.
Dubai thinks about the three, turns it down, wasn't really set for it. Keese will go back to her. Turns the corner, goes with the right hand to kick. Let's see for three. Now this team has found some rhythm in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they have. And again, I think you're really seeing their talent. I mean, Kish, I wasn't expecting her to come out and have a game like this. 22 points already. Dubai with that enormous fourth quarter. She has 17. Everyone is really showing their strengths and their individual talent, but also their team talent.
Yeah, Peliankova. Great closeout to force her onto the floor for the two. Satskova knocks down the two. Just over 2 to go. And Hungary are going to try and close this out, trying to increase the margin. That's not the way to do that. They turn it over. And Satskova's been involved in a lot of positive things defensively. Her quickness is exceptional. Peliankova's going to sit. And Nova will check back in. Meanwhile, the other way, Dubai, job done, sits down. That three just almost got on its own. It changed the whole game. The three is good. Do the Silver again from that spot.
Shova, she's been a bright spot, number 77. She had 15 points in this game. And, you know, there's a few possessions left here for Slovakia offensively. Imagine they could come up with 6 to 8 points in the last minute and a half, but not if you're going to foul and, you know, put Hungary to the free throw line.
Oh, it's a tough ask, but if they could get close to 10, 12, then it's not, you're almost salvaging the situation. But you're not going to do it sending Hungary to the free throw line. Melik is a very, very solid free throw shooter. Makes the first chance to make this a 20-point game, which she does. And Alice Varga gets a lot of positive out of the traveling Hungarian fans, as does Gori, as she gets a standing ovation from the traveling Hungarian contingent, and she richly deserves that.
Yeah. You know, not only the 16 points that she contributed, but there was a lot of little hustle plays that don't really show up on the stat sheet that I really thought, you know, when they needed her, especially in that fourth quarter, she came out of that, you know, just hustling after the ball, a little bit of touches, not necessarily her stat, but little things she does to help the team.
Well, they're still working at the defensive end, generate another turnover, and a chance again to pile on the woe for Slovakia. Game was tied up in the fourth quarter. I don't think there's a person in the gym who saw a 20-point margin.
Absolutely not. But what I love is that Hungary, they didn't freak out. You know, they kept their composure. They knew what they needed to do. And those who stepped up, like that player right there.
League with a step back three. And it's now a 23-point margin. And you know that the Serbian and the Turkish rosters and coaching staff will be looking at this and go, hey, this Hungarian team is for real.
They're serious. They came to make a point, and, you know, I know they didn't talk too much yesterday in the press conference about how they, you know, their goal is to get out of the group phase. They were very humble in the press conference, but I think they also know what they're capable of doing. And like we said, they had a great preparation leading up to this tournament, and they had some big wins. Let's not forget that win over Spain right before the tournament started.
You know, sometimes those prep games is we're going to get another three-point play. Super again. Footwork is great. Protect with the body. And Agni Torok, he gets the two. They're deep. That's the other thing.
Yes,
they're deep.
Very deep.
And you don't ever beat Spain in a prep game or a pickup game without you being decent. So
exactly.
So this could be the last shot for Slovakia. There's a marginal differential between the game and possession. This is an immense fourth quarter by Hungary. Just a phenomenal fourth quarter. Off the glass for two is good, and Canova ticks the scoreboard over for the last time, and Hungary, after missing out 2 years ago on qualifying for EuroBasket, announced they're here now. And that's a big, big fourth quarter. Tied up at one point in the fourth quarter. They win this 89-67. That's a big win.
That is a big win, and they were tied 55-55 at the beginning of the first quarter. Slovakia with an opportunity to go to the free throw line and get their first lead of the game since, you know, first few minutes of the game in that first quarter. They missed two free throws, and then it was all Hungary to close out the quarter after that. And like you said, I mean, they did it on the defensive end. They gave up only 12 points in that quarter. And then offensively, they just caught fire, and that's why we see this huge 22-point lead for Hungary. And you're right. I think that they made a statement win, that they are here, and they are here to compete.
Oh, I mean, look at that. We talked about the three-point percentage. They ended up with a 41% gain from the three. It's just... and they won the battle of the boards, and at the end of the third quarter, they were getting absolutely washed through on the glass. They were just outworked.
I definitely think a bright spot for me is definitely number 77, Judashova. 15 points for Slovakia. You know, I put a lot of pressure on the captain and their big player, Jakubčová. Not their night. They had some good moments, but you know, to win at a major tournament like the FIBA Women's EuroBasket, you need more than 2-3 players to contribute, and that's what we saw by Hungary. I mean, Kish 22 points, Dubai 17 with an enormous fourth quarter, and then Gori just kind of doing all the junk work. She still winds up with 16 points. Remember, she had 11 in the first half, and I said, who's going to step up in the second? Well, people did, players did, and that's the sign, in my opinion, of a good team.
Absolutely, I 100% can't add anything to that, because while you're getting the replays, we can see they've already got looks like a great relationship with these traveling fans. And the other thing you need in this environment, in that momentum, is you need that group of fans, and they've definitely got that. And that was just, as you said, a statement fourth quarter. Huge fourth quarter. And the other thing to say, you mentioned this over the halftime, but like Hatar hasn't been back playing long since the injury, and she's going to grow as the tournament goes on, so they're going to get that huge presence much more in the rhythm.
Yeah, you know, we saw her not start the game, Bernadette Hatar. She didn't start the game. She did start the third quarter. A little bit of foul troubles early in that third quarter. You know, she just came back from an ACL injury late February, early March. That's only been a few months. She did play with Chaperon Women's EuroLeague, but, you know, limited minutes, obviously, coming off of an ACL. And I think she's only going to get better as this tournament goes on. But guess what? They also have other players and post players, especially in Kish, who can step up. Again, I think to go far in a tournament like this, you need at some point almost all 12 players being able to contribute, if needed.
Well, and they look like they've got that depth, so that's just a tremendous performance by Hungary. That's the first look at the group table. They get the win, go to the top, obviously, and then we've got what can only be described as a clash of some great basketball nations as Turkey and Serbia will play at 3 o'clock local time. And I wouldn't miss that one because the defending champions are in town. So that's game day. That's game one. On game day one done. We'll see you for game two shortly. But for now, what a great performance and a win for Hungary.